Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Marshfield School Committee meeting on Tuesday, September 10th. Mrs. Pazerski, if you could please call the roll.
Mrs. Dargan, Ms. Stetson, Mr. Greer, Mr. Costello.
Here.
Mrs. Brate.
Mrs. Brate cannot make it tonight. She sends her apologies. Please rise and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And we have some students with us tonight, so I'd like to hear this loud and proud. Please join me for the Peace Builders Pledge. I am a peace builder. I pledge to praise people, to give up put-downs, to seek wise people, to notice and speak up about hurts I've caused, to right wrongs, to help others. I will build peace at home, at school, and in my community each day. Under the open meeting law, I'm informing the public that this meeting is being videotaped by Marshfield Community Media. If anybody else is taping this meeting, either audio or video, please notify us of such at this time. Seeing none, I would just very quickly like to note two things before we move into our Spotlight on Excellence, which is just an awesome way to open our first meeting of the school year. The two quick things is I want to welcome Aiden Keelty, who was a Spotlight on Excellence himself a couple of years ago at Furnace Brook Middle School and is now filming our meetings, at least tonight. So Aiden, welcome. And today is Mrs. Dargan's birthday. She's with us tonight instead of with her family. She explicitly asked me not to sing because she, quote, hates it. So we're not going to sing. But if we could, on the count of three, all say a very big happy birthday. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday. Thank you for being here. Happy birthday.
The happy birthday pledge.
Yes, the happy birthday pledge, right. Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Greer. Appreciate it. I do like putting people on the spot. I'll probably do it to you tonight. I'm going to turn it on over to you, Dr. Sullivan, to introduce our outstanding Spotlight on Excellence, which at least a couple of us got a sneak preview of last Tuesday. So I'll turn it on over to you.
Yes, thank you, Chairman Costello. It's my pleasure to welcome the students back for the Spotlight. So just by way of reference, we had our convocation on the 3rd, which was Tuesday, and it was obviously very well attended. We had our full staff, about 750 or so staff, filling up the auditorium. It was a fabulous event for me personally because it was my return home to Marshfield, and it was a chance for me to tell people about what makes me tick and to talk about the goals for the district, which I outlined a little bit in the last school committee meeting. And then also to do a couple of things that I felt really great about. One was to honor our teachers who have served at Marshfield Public Schools, and we looked at honoring them for 15 to 20 years, 15 to 19 years, and then 20 and above, 25 and above, and 30 and above. And we were able to give them really beautiful crystal apples, well, glass apples, but very nice apples. Don't worry, Marshfield Public. Beautiful. They were nice apples that commemorated each of those milestones. And one of our teachers who has never really officially retired because he's kept working in Marshfield, George Bakey, who was my math teacher back in the day. Yes, and Sean's as well. And one of my best teachers this was his 50th year in Marshfield Public Schools. So we were able to honor him not only at the convocation, but as the Educator of the Week. But when we talked about our main goals for the year and we talked about our focus points, the one that stands out the most is promoting student voice and engagement. It's something that all, as educators, everyone in the building, I talk about the three mottos that mean a lot to me, which is what we do here is important, this is important, you can do it, and we will not give up on you. And part of all three of those mottos is to encourage student voice and to get them engaged in the teaching, learning, and leading. So we started off with one of the things we did, that my favorite part, I think it was universally the favorite part of the event, was a conversation with our students to talk about their hopes, their goals, and to hear their voice and their collective voice and their individual voices as they get ready for the year. So we're going to replicate that for you a bit. We have most of our students who were amazing, just amazing at this event, and get a standing ovation, and a well-deserved standing ovation. And they also took the time during the summer to practice with me, but they didn't need much practice. They were naturals and very amazing up there on stage. But a couple of people who aren't able to join the students who will be introducing themselves in just a moment. We had Scarlett Generous, who is a fifth grader, and Johnny Blazek, who's a fifth grader. And one of the things who aren't going to be able to be with us today, I don't think Scarlett and Johnny are back there, correct? All right, good. So they were great, and every school is represented here, well, if you count Johnny and Scarlett. So at this time, I'm going to invite the students up to the seats. There should be 7 seats. I think there are 7 of you, if my math holds correct. Doesn't really matter where you sit today. You can sit kind of on any place you want. And I guess we'll slide the mic just as we did before at the event. So, and also this is a good time for me to thank Joni Pazerski again for all the work she did in getting that day ready and then in helping with these students. So we'll pass these mics. So first thing, just as we did last time, I'm going to have you just go around and introduce yourselves, tell them what grade level you're in and obviously what school you're in, and then we'll go back and get into some of the questions. So Nick, you start.
Awesome, thank you. So my name is Nicholas, and I am a freshman at Marshfield High School. My goals for this 2024. Oh,
That's okay. You did that last
I'm skipping ahead. Sorry.
Good.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elijah. I'm a senior at Marshfield High School as well.
My name is Gabby, and I'm a 5th grader at Martinson.
My name is Sloan, and I'm a 5th grader at Governor Winslow.
My name is Daniel, and I'm a 5th grader at Daniel Webster.
My name is Megan, and I am a 7th grader at Furnace Brook Middle School.
My name is Larson, and I am a 7th grader at Furnace Brook Middle School.
Awesome job. Now, let's hear it for them, just for being brave, being up here. So Larson, starting with you, maybe you could start the conversation about what your goals are for the year, and why are you really excited about the year to come?
My goals for this school year is to make new friends and get better at math. I think math is a very important subject to learn.
My goals for this year are to take new risks and opportunities at Furnace Brook Middle School, such as trying out for SEMSBA and joining Green Team.
My goals for this year is I would like to join the library leadership team with my librarian, Mrs. Conroy. I will ask my teacher, Mrs. LaForest, for help more than I did for my past years, and I will never give up.
My goals for this year are to be a better person inside and outside of school by helping others when needed and making sure to include everyone.
My goal for the year is to be a good role model for the younger students. I'm excited about being the oldest in the school and being a leader.
One of my big goals for this year is to finish high school off strong, stay committed to my academics and extracurriculars, but also have fun and engage in all the senior activities and really be present and embrace every moment of my time left at MHS.
My goals are to grow academically and as a class, but also as a district by organizing community service projects and really just general things that are going to unite Marshfield.
Awesome. And I have to say, Daniel, you were a huge hit with the librarians in the room. We were getting a lot of high fives. And I just want to mention, and you all did a fabulous job with that answer, and Nick was also the Project 351 ambassador. Project 351 is a project that was started actually by Deval Patrick to acknowledge the 351 middle schools in Massachusetts and have them do service during a day where they all come together, and then bring that service project back to their hometowns. And Nick spoke at the Massachusetts Association of School Superintendents, and Dr. Martin and I attended that, and I was blown away by how well he did there. So great job with that one. And Nick, you can start us off with this next one, which is really about what has inspired you so far in your time at Marshfield Public Schools, and feel free to talk about some of the teachers who have inspired you and explain why they did.
Of course, yeah. So I think what has been most inspirational is the welcoming culture that's in Marshfield. And I really mean that by when I go every day to school, there's going to be at least one educator, one classmate really just one person that's going to make my day even better. And having that opportunity to look forward to is just amazing. And lastly, just I'd say one educator that has been really inspirational was my 8th grade math teacher, Mrs. Korick, because she helped me start an investment club, which was an amazing opportunity to grow with peers and really just as everybody, yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
So when thinking of things that inspired me during like my time at MHS specifically, I think of student council. I've had so much growth through this group and met so many people and made so many connections that I never thought I'd have. It's pushed me outside my comfort zone and allowed me to grow as a leader, but also as a human. And a lot of this growth it wouldn't be possible without Miss Vitez and the love and energy and time she's poured into the club over the past few years. So yeah.
My 3rd grade teacher, Miss Irons, has inspired me in so many different ways. She would always challenge us and help us reach the goal we set together. One thing that stands out to me is our Alaska project, because it was our first long-term research project. She made it so much fun.
All my teachers have inspired me, especially my 2nd grade teacher, Mrs. Jacobucci, because her classroom made everyone feel welcome and and she made learning fun in different ways. Her stress-free environment made me love school.
That's great.
Teachers that inspire me is Mrs. Bertolli and Mrs. Conroy, and they have inspired me to follow my dreams of being a librarian.
I'd say that my math teachers, Mr. Deulis and Mr. Bakey, have inspired me because of how welcoming they made the classroom feel and by how they always pushed you to take on the next challenge.
One of the teachers that inspired me was my 6th grade math teacher, Mr. D. He was always very kind and he helped me understand many things that I wasn't sure about. He not only helped me with math, but if I ever had a question about 6th grade or my locker, he would always try his best to help me no matter what.
Wonderful. Let's hear it for those answers. Wonderful answers. And the teachers they acknowledged, which, believe me, that's a pretty special thing to hear that. That's great. And this is really the last question for everyone, but when I asked this of them, and they did a great job with it, so what advice can you give teachers as they are planning for the year to come? What do you think is important for the teachers and your educators to consider about the students they will be teaching?
I think the beginning of the school year can be very stressful for both teachers and students. Some advice I would give to teachers is to just be very welcoming and kind. Just a simple smile and hello can go a very long way for a stressed student.
My advice for teachers this year would be keep considering how their students feel in their classroom. By creating a welcoming environment, it can allow room for students to make mistakes and can create a stress-free environment open for new ideas.
Nice.
My advice to teachers is have an orderly classroom so that students can concentrate best while doing their work. Some other advice is to make sure we follow rules, and if not, teachers correct us. It makes us feel better about our learning, that everyone is a DWS kid, dedicated, welcoming, and safe.
Nice.
I think teachers should make sure their students feel safe, welcome, and included, and make sure to make learning fun in different ways, because that'll make their students want to come back each day with a smile on their face.
My advice to teachers is to challenge us. We can do it. It won't always be easy for every student, but if we all work together as a class, I think we can do it.
My advice for teachers is to consider the variety of learners in their classroom and make active efforts to cater to the different learning styles in the classroom. Not all students benefit from like a lecture style learning. Some need auditory measures or are more visual learners. So yes.
What I would suggest is to learn your students, and then once you've done that, you can identify their goals and ultimately align what you're teaching to their future dreams and vision. So, yes.
Fabulous. And maybe, Nick, the last question, and I asked this mainly of the older students, so Larson and Megan and Nick and Elijah, but anybody can jump in too. Tell us how Marshfield can be even more welcoming than it is to every student in the district.
Yeah, so I would really just say is that, we have to recognize the fact that we're all equally different, right? And for somebody who's new to Marshfield, they might feel that they're more different, but that's really what makes them stronger and really brings us all together. So if we can recognize that and also just taking the resources we have in Marshfield and the different programs and aligning that with their future career decisions or whatever this person is looking at, doing in the future.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick.
So I think the district needs to continue their commitment to student voice and engagement. If we continue to make students feel as if they have a voice in a room full of adults, it will make them feel like they really own their education, and they'll be more willing to invest in it.
My advice for how we could welcome students into the MPSD would probably be just giving a simple smile and hello. I have learned from my past in Furnace Brook Middle School from Mrs. Lynch that every day, if you just simply give a smile and hello, it can change someone's day for the better.
I think Marshfield already does a great job, but I think you just have to consider everyone's needs. If a student suggests something, try to think about that instead of pushing it to the back of your brain. The first couple days of school can bring a lot of things to teachers' brains, but just try to think about what the students want, because that will make the students way more comfortable in the district.
Wonderful. So let's hear it for these amazing students. I think we're almost ready to take this on the road, because you're getting better and better as you go. But, I really enjoy working with you, and it's just, you can see the incredible students that we have here, as if you needed to know that, but they're on full display here. I don't know if the committee had any questions or comments for them.
So I'm sure everybody's going to want to say something. I will start with 3 very quick things. First of all, parents, you should be so proud. I mean, that is unbelievable that your kids could sit here, not just in front of us, but last week they did it in front of almost 800 people. That's incredible. That's a really impressive thing for kids of any age. So kudos to you for encouraging that at home. You should be complimented on that. The next thing I want to say really quickly, what strikes me about all of this, and I'll have more to say maybe after you guys, but I got too much to say, but your advice to your teachers is incredibly mature. That kind of strikes me. It struck me last Tuesday when I heard it, not just the fact that you thought that. I mean, if I were your age, I was at Daniel Webster when I was in 5th grade. So I was you when I was in 5th grade. I went to Daniel Webster. And my answer to advice from my teachers would be, I don't know, could we make lunch longer? So the fact that you can sit here and say, all of you can say your honest advice, it's not just impressive that you thought it, but it's impressive that you could sit in front of that room of teachers, some of whom are here today and saw you and stood up and clapped for you at the end, and say that to them is really impressive. The third thing I want to say is what I want you all to hold on to, which is the question about a teacher that's inspired you. Your teachers go above and beyond every single day for all of you. Your answers on how your teachers have impacted you is really emotional to hear. I think we all appreciate hearing that. We have a former teacher up here with us. And I just want to say that for me, it's really cool for me to hear that from all of you, because my answer to that question would have been Megan's grandmother, Jean Moriarty, who was my reading specialist when I was at Daniel Webster. So I think of her when I hear people like you compliment your teachers now. So congratulations to all of you. I'll turn it over to the committee, who I'm sure has something they'd like to add. Sorry, go ahead. I know. Go ahead. What do you turn your mic on?
There you go. Okay. Well, thank you. Like Sean said, it's not easy to do this, and I'm always super impressed. I think we can all be proud that we're churning out some really great public speakers and kids that are really comfortable talking to people, and that's awesome, because it's hard for us adults sometimes. The other thing I was thinking was, I hope that you guys know now or soon that when you share your thoughts and ideas like you did today and like you did last week, you make a difference. And whatever age you are sitting at this table right now, you can do that, and you have an impact, and that's pretty powerful. So I hope that you can feel that, and keep using it for good, and making a positive impact. Because it's kids like you that make me want to do this volunteer job and make me feel proud of our district. And so thank you so much for sharing with us today.
Oh, geez. Thank you. I'll be short, but thank you guys so much. It's so fun to see classmates of Evie's, like past and present, and classmates of my own also here. It's really funny. And hearing about Mr. Bakey, who's my 8th grade math teacher, who's still apparently teaching. He's fantastic. But thank you guys so much for coming and sharing with us. And I think probably I can speak on behalf of all of us. We love hearing the student perspective, and oftentimes I think we hear from parents and we hear from teachers, and we don't maybe hear as much from students. So I really, really appreciate hearing your thoughts on the district and how we can do things even better. And I would encourage you, and your parents can take me up on this offer, feel free to email us. If you ever have an idea and you're like, I don't know who to tell, I don't know what to do, email one of us, all of us, and we love to hear your thoughts and ideas and perspectives. So thank you so, so much. We're so proud of all of you guys.
I always have trouble following you, Sean, because you say it all. But, I mean, the thing that impressed me most is after listening to all of you, I had to remind myself that you're all 18 and under, right? You present yourself years beyond what your chronological age actually is. It's very impressive what all of you have put together and the insight that you have and the level of detail that you have that insight. You caught me on SEMSPA. I remember the stress having you practicing the piece over and over and over and over again. And then you have a whole group of people staring at you while you're playing by yourself. Good luck with that. What instrument do you play? Oh, okay. Yeah, I auditioned for viola one year, violin a different year, but or different years, I should say.
I am so going to make you bring an instrument in and play for us.
Anything with strings I play. Not well.
Yeah, there's our spotlight.
Yeah. Yeah, but good luck to all of you in your future endeavors, and it's very impressive to sit here and listen to all of you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys again, and thanks to all of you for your kind words to these kids. It's awesome to hear from you, and I just want to reiterate what Ms. Stetson said. Please reach out to us. That's what we're here for. Even if it's not something that we have direct influence or control over, we can get you in touch with the right person who does. It's our school district is a great place to learn because of you guys. There's 3,800 students in the district, 3,800 students, and 7 of you here were chosen for good reason to join your teachers on their first day back from summer break, and it clearly paid off because people are still talking about it now. I got text messages and emails from teachers who were so thrilled to see that. So well done, job well done. We have some certificates here to recognize you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for a 5-minute recess so we can take a picture with all of you guys up here that we can put out on our social media. We'll give you your certificates, and then we'll congratulate you guys, and you can be on your way. So one more round of applause for these amazing students. I'm going to take a 5-minute recess, and we'll meet you guys up here.
You got the student rep.
Yes. All right, so I'll just say your name. Let's see most of the song. Thank you. Gabby. Gabby, good job. Nicholas. Yes, you did. I love it.
Remember, you rocked it last year. So whatever you have to do, just remember, like public speaking is something that was terrifying. You stood up there. You got it, right?
Nailed it.
You guys rocked it. Now you rocked it in front of everybody. So proud.
People in the community are going to be able to watch it on camera. That's awesome. Awesome. So let's take a picture over here with all you guys and your certificates. This is Reserves just need to get, we can, Elijah, your certificate. Oh, what did I do? H on the end.
So funny. Were you a sweet Roger? Yes, we
Looking forward to seeing great things this year. Thank you, parents. Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you,
Parents,
everybody.
you can
Parents.
find that picture on our social media very soon.
Good job, Danielle.
That was great.
I did too. And I was like, wait.
Yeah, I can't remember the exact. I think he's the president of the school. Just an impressive kid. They're all impressive.
No, but he hit on something that, exactly.
Yeah. Really? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You should send them an email. You've got the video.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah, they're all really impressive kids. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you.
That's pretty much my update.
Okay.
I just mentioned that.
Cool. I'll take some things out of order. Do you know who this gentleman is here? I want to make sure I take this gentleman here, which one he's with. Okay, I didn't know if he's with groups. I would take him on board. All right, I think we are ready to get back to our full session here. That was just an unbelievable way to start the meeting. That's awesome. Really, really impressive kids. With the committee's consent, I might just move some things around. We have some folks here for agenda items, and I'd like to maybe take those before the informational so we can get you guys out of here. I don't want you to have to sit here with us all night. You're more than welcome to, but you don't have to. So we'll move that down. I will take the student representative report first, though, so we'll welcome you guys up to give your first report of the year. Welcome. Welcome back to school.
Welcome.
Are you so happy to be back?
There's a little bit of a forced smile. But
Yeah, we'll take it. We'll take it. Yeah.
Definitely happy to get back into schedule and the swing of things. You know what I mean?
Good.
Schedule helps a lot.
Good. Now, if you guys could just introduce yourselves, remind us who you are, and launch into your update.
Hi, I'm Kylie Zima. I am a sophomore at MHS right now.
Hi, I'm Lily Lensky, and I'm also a sophomore at MHS.
Awesome.
Oh, I'll go first. So I'm the representative for the high school, and I kind of wanted to go over a bit of what happened over the summer and what is starting to be the routine of the school easing back into the year. So over the summer, our athletes worked really hard at strengthening conditioning. The program took place Monday through Thursday over the summer months at the high school, and this program worked to guarantee that members of the high school's athletic teams remained in shape over the summer to ensure success in fall sports. I myself attended this program, and I found it really helpful to building up endurance and staying in shape over the summer. The fall sports now are in full swing and are practicing on their regular fall schedules and starting up with games. And the start of the actual school year at MHS went very smoothly. The new phone law is in place, which is being enforced. And clubs such as Student Council are all now holding their first general meetings.
All right, so I'm the representative for the middle school right now, and just to give you an update, sixth grade kicked off their year with tours and cluster activities to get to know one another, such as the Vikings. They made Viking helmets with each other, and the Anchors cluster did multiple cup stacking challenges, just some easy things to kick off the year for the new sixth graders, ease into middle school. Everyone in and FBMS submitted their summer reading assignments for their first grade of term 1, starting off the year with the right foot forward. FBMS open house is on September 19th, giving all parents and guardians a chance to meet their child's teachers, see a feel for the school, especially the new sixth graders' parents. They can see the layout of the school, meet all the new teachers, and such as that. Picture day is this Thursday. All students will have their photos taken for their school IDs and the yearbook, along with for their families. It's available for purchase. The FBMS Theater Club had their first meeting yesterday, announcing the show as SpongeBob SquarePants the Musical.
Love it.
Yeah. And finally, the cross-country team has had their first practice today, September 10th, and they're ready to represent the Rams this year. And Finn Turner, who represents the elementary school, couldn't be here today, so I'll be filling in for him. If I pull up his notes. All right. So EWS, on Monday, September 2nd, there was no school due to Labor Day, along with all of the other schools. The elementary school had a meet and greet the next day. The first day of school was Wednesday. Kindergarten orientation was on September 4th. And picture day was on the 9th. The first PTO meeting of the year was on the 17th. And on the 26th, that is going to be elementary curriculum night. And that's it for EWS. Just reading off of what he gave me for notes.
Yep, you're good. You're doing great.
So GWS on Friday, that was High Five Friday. That was where all of the Marshfield, like police officers, firefighters, they all waited at the entrance with the elementary school students and gave them high fives as they walked in. Alongside that, Monday the 29th was Life Touch Picture Day. Okay, Friday was Go Gold for Hope Week. Yeah, it was Go Gold for Hope Week. Just reading off the notes.
You're fine. You're doing fine.
On Friday the 27th, that was a spirit day where they were yellow or gold. That was to show support for the people in our community that's impacted by childhood cancer. And that's all for GWS, but at MES, their school's theme for the year is to just be you and encourage students to embrace themselves in all of the qualities of their life. There isn't much else that happened at MES other than defining the theme for the year. Finally, at SRS, they had their first school meet and greet on September 3rd to introduce all students to their new teachers. Picture Day is September 12th, and that's all for SRS. There was nothing down for DWS, but I'm sure a lot happened there.
As always. Awesome. Well, thank you both very much. We appreciate it. We look forward to having you in throughout the year to give us some more updates. Awesome. Great
All
job.
right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Well done. My favorite update they gave, and there's all awesome updates, but my favorite one was the play at Furnace Brook is going to be SpongeBob. And I like that because in years past, the Furnace Brook Drama Club has roped in the superintendent to be part of the play.
Oh, there is a character named Patrick.
Hey, there we go. I was just going to say, it's kind of tailor-made, right? So we'll see, Dr. Sullivan.
That was the Grinch.
I remember that. Yep, I do remember that. No. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and start first with the MHS deck. Oh, you know what? Before I do that, just really quickly, I'm going to start public comment. Is there anybody who's a member of the public who wishes to address the committee at this time? We invite you forward to do so. Okay. Seeing none, we'll close public comment. We're going to move meeting minutes to the end, and our MEA update, Mr. Raymond is unable to be here with us tonight and sends his apologies as well. So we'll go ahead with the MHS DECA field trip, our annual chance to hear from Ms. Weber and Dr. Mincello, who I think we hear from a few times throughout the year.
All right, hi everybody. I think I know most of you guys by now, but I'm Mrs. Weber from the high school. I teach marketing and am the co-advisor for DECA.
And I am Dr. Mincello. I run the Career and Tech Ed department, and I am teaching entrepreneurship this year, and I'm co-advising DECA with Mrs. Weber.
So I know a lot of you guys are familiar with DECA, but I know Dr. Sullivan is new to the group, so I don't know how much familiarity you have with the DECA program. a lot of DECA parents in the room.
Significantly since I was here.
Yes. So DECA is one of the business clubs we run at the high school. Last year we had 232 members, so we're in like the top 5 largest chapters in the state, which is very amazing.
That's incredible.
We're actually fortunate enough to have 2 state representatives on the Massachusetts DECA State Action Team be students from Marshfield High School too. So lots of recognition for our program at the state level, which is fantastic. So we're just here tonight to ask permission for our 2 out-of-state trips for the year. And both of these were trips we attended last year, but just want to give kind of a little bit more information, and the locations change every year. So the first one would be this upcoming November, the Power Trip in Charlotte, North Carolina. That is a regional leadership conference. So we plan to just bring our officer team. So we have 10 students who are part of our Marshfield DECA officer team. Due to just different, sports conflicts and things like that, we anticipate probably having about 5 students be able to attend. 2 of the 2 state representative students will already be there traveling separately, but 5 of them hopefully will be joining us. And really the goal of the conference is just to help them strengthen their leadership toolbox throughout the year as they plan to lead our very large chapter. And so in the document I sent to Joni, it just included some screenshots from the conference program. So really it's the full day Saturday is a lot of different workshops where kids have a choice what they can attend. So there's different things focusing on like college, career readiness, leadership skills, and competition, which is the basis of the DECA program. Last year was the first year we attended since pre-COVID, and the kids still talk about that was their favorite trip of the year. Just in terms of practical skills they gained from it, and hearing, at night when we would debrief after all of that, how excited they were to talk about what they were going to bring back to the chapter and all of the things they learned was awesome. So that will be November 15th through the 17th, like I said, in Charlotte, North Carolina. We are planning to cover the full cost for all students to attend, so there's no cost for those students just because they've already raised over $11,000, the officer team this year, in fundraising for our chapter, so some of that money will go towards this trip for them.
Nice.
Questions on that conference?
Yeah, so let's do it this way. Let's pause here and let's take questions on this, and then we can take a motion to approve this trip if we so choose, and then we can move to the second trip.
Sure.
That works for you, Dr. Sullivan? Awesome. Any questions or comments? Go right ahead.
Yeah, so it's a no-brainer to approve the trip, but
he loves a good power trip.
Yeah, well, duh. Students in need, are they going to be funded for the trip, if there are any?
Yes.
Okay.
So the whole trip will be covered for all students, and then in the event we have any students so typically we cover like the registration, hotel, airfare, transportation, and then when they're there, they're kind of on their own for meals. So if we have any student who couldn't afford that, we're happy to cover the cost of that for them too.
Great. Any other? Got it. Okay, thank you.
Which I would add to, like a lot of that fundraising the kids do at the beginning of the year is to cover trips for any of our members in need. So we probably had about 5 maybe that we cover a good chunk of the trips for them for the year too.
Yes.
So
Right.
a lot of that money goes to that.
That's awesome. Any other questions, comments? Thank you for being a good sport with my little jokes. Is there a motion to approve the DECA trip on November 15th to the 17th to Charlotte, North Carolina? So moved from Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining. That's 400. Have fun on that trip, and go ahead and tell us about the next one.
Okay. All right, thank you. So I guess the grand finale of DECA is our annual International Career Development Conference that happens every year. This year it is taking place in Orlando, Florida, so the location rotates between 3 to 4 different states throughout the series of every few years. It kind of rotates. So the kids work really hard to qualify for international. So they have to qualify at our district competition to move on to states, and then from our state competition to move on to ICDC. So typically in the past we've brought about 16 to 18 students as our chapter is getting larger and larger, and every year we don't think we're going to get any bigger, and we do. So we're probably anticipating about the same amount of students, between 16 to 18 students that will qualify to go to compete, or they will qualify to earn a spot in our Leadership Academy. So students have the opportunity to go and compete or attend Leadership Academies over the course of a few days. And it's a really amazing experience where they are in a conference center or the convention hall, wherever they're having all of our sessions with 25,000 peers from across all 50 states, and also in some of our international locations. So it's an amazing experience, an opportunity for them. They are, they work very hard throughout the school year and are able to apply all the skills that they're learning inside the classroom to their competitive events. So it's really the push for what drives them to work so hard. So this year, Internationals is taking place from April 25th through the 30th, so kind of at that tail end of April vacation. Again, Mrs. Weber and I are anticipating, just based off our numbers from last year, between 16 to 18 students to qualify, because that's typically what we've had in the past. The cost is a little bit more. It's about $1,400 a student. It's kind of hard to estimate with airfare because we don't really know what airfare is going to be. And again, we do a lot of fundraisers throughout the school year. So not only has our officer team already done an amazing job raising $11,000, but we run the concession stand at the football games. We have the revenue source of our school store coming in. Students are able to do individual fundraisers, selling chocolate bars, things along those lines. So we are able to cover a good amount of the costs. I also allocate funds through my Perkins grants, where I'm able to cover registration and membership dues for our students, so that helps cut down on the cost as well. And we always help out any student that is in financial need as well. So, and a lot of them work really hard. So we had 2 students last year that paid very little to attend because they worked really hard on fundraising. So it's a great opportunity. The students travel. We travel as a state with Massachusetts, so they not only represent Marshfield, but they represent Massachusetts on a whole, and it's a great experience. So so we would love the opportunity to be able to go again, and fingers crossed that we have a lot of students qualify this year.
Awesome. I'm sure you will.
Yeah, I hope
Sure you
so.
will. Yeah, you guys run a great club.
Thank you.
Any questions or comments? Okay, so Mr. Greer has made a motion to approve the DECA trip on April 25th to the 30th, 2025. Is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson. All those in favor, please signify by raising a hand saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstaining? That's 400 as well. Thank you both. We
Thank you.
appreciate
Thank you,
everything you do.
guys.
Thank you. Yep, absolutely.
Awesome trips.
Yes. We'll see you before you leave, but
Yes.
just in case, you definitely will, just in case we don't have a
Yes.
great time in November.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, thank you. Dr. Sullivan, we'll have to get you to districts or states to
Yeah,
come in.
check it out.
Check it out.
I can totally see him doing that. Okay, we have a couple more agenda items. I want folks to know that the donation from Marshfield Youth Basketball is being tabled, so we'll discuss that at a later date. Sorry, are you with one of the donations? I'd like to take you out of order if you are. Yeah, one of the gifts? Which one? Come on forward, sir, please.
Saw the resemblance. I was trying to think of, yeah.
So, thank you. I'm assuming you probably have some of the information, but yeah, Ed obviously loved Martin, so 3 siblings and I want to do something. Excuse me. And so we talked to Principal Jill, and she said Buddy Bench made sense. So we did some research on it, and I think we got you the basic information. It's about a 6-foot bench. It smooth edges. My sister texted me the material. It's the dark material with the back wall, and then there was some sort of writing on the tribute there. And then Principal Jill will figure out, what's the appropriate place to put in there. So obviously there's no cost to the school, but it's a way to honor his love for the school and him. Excuse me. I don't know if you have any questions or any details you want to know.
So, before we begin, I want to let you know how sorry we are for your loss. Ed was an awesome guy, very welcoming every time we would go to Martinson. We have 2 Martinson moms here who I'm sure can speak to that. Oh, my God, yes, 4 of you. Yep, there's 4 of you, yep, so they can all speak to that, just how much he was loved by the staff and the students at Martinson. And Rich, you were a good friend of Ed's, that's right. Yep, that's right, so.
Did you know Luke? Did you know Luke, his nephew that worked at Martinson in summer vacations? I'm only saying this because today's his 3rd day at Marine Officer Candidate School.
Oh, wow.
So he's not
Awesome.
getting any sleep at the moment, but
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I knew Ed well too, because he worked with me over at Furnace Brook, and I got to know
Did you?
Joey.
Oh, thank you.
Just a wonderful, warm person that was just, as Sean said, welcoming to anybody.
Always.
And very generous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, so our thoughts are continuing to be with you, and this is such a nice way to remember him and the impact that he had on the school and the students. So,
thank you.
if anybody has any questions or comments, please. Okay. So with that, please, yes.
Okay. Oh, yeah, somebody gave him this thing, Top Mop, which he loves, and so somebody called him Top Mop, and so maybe they might say like Ed Top Mop Norton or something, but
Nice.
he had it in his office. I mean, one time during till recently I was in the military, but so I wasn't home a lot, but I took, he gave me the tour of the facility, went down the air conditioning units. He loved the place. And one of the things, he took me to his office and he had this thing on the wall that said Top Mop. So it was just, everybody has an opportunity to contribute to the world. It's not always the same, but this was his way. So thank you.
He gave a lot.
Yeah, certainly.
Great
So
guy.
we'll be proud to have that bench at Martinson. So if anybody would like to make a motion to approve the gift on the bench in memory of Ed Norton.
So moved.
So moved from all 3 of you. So
Yeah,
Mrs. Pazerski, take your pick. You can take your pick on motion. Is there a second?
All of us.
Second, all 3, you take your pick on that as well. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstaining, that's unanimous. Thank you
you
very
very
much. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Family, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Norton, much appreciated.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
You too. Thank you very much for what you did.
Thank you. Okay. The last gift we have, and I'll turn it over to you, Dr. Sullivan, is the acceptance of a donation from Service Master for school supplies.
Yes. This donation is from Service Master, and yes. It's from Marlon Blanco, who's the president of Service Master, and I'm just looking for the amount here. It's the amount of $1,250, and the idea is to assist teachers in getting additional supplies for their classrooms. He has 4 students himself, 4 kids who are enrolled in the Marshfield Public Schools. So this is a very generous donation. We want to.
It's an annual gift.
Yes, that's so lovely, and we want to thank Mr. Blanco for this donation.
Any questions or comments on this? Okay, is there a motion to accept the donation from Service Master for school supplies? So moved from Ms. Dargan, is there a second? Second from Ms. Stetson, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand, saying aye. Aye. Opposed, abstaining, that's a 4-0-0 as well, Mrs. Pazerski. We're going to do the meeting minutes, and then we're going to move on to our informational. So we have 2 sets of meeting minutes. The first is from June 4th, 2024. And Mr. Greer was unable to make it at that meeting, so you'd be abstaining on this one. Oh, this was a fun one. This was our retirees. That's always a good one. And once the committee is ready, we'll accept a motion to approve the meeting minutes from June 4th. So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye, opposed, and abstaining. That's a 301. Thank you, Mrs. Pazerski. And then we have the meeting minutes from our last meeting, which was the 27th of August. We're caught up, yes. Killing it, Mrs. Pazerski. No, yeah. It's mostly my fault. Motion to approve the meeting minutes of the 27th of August has been made by Mr. Greer. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan. All those in favor, please signify by raising your hand saying aye. Aye, opposed, abstaining, 400. Thank you very much. Okay, I want folks to just keep in mind that after informational, we'll be taking a motion to enter into executive session, not to enter into full session thereafter. So we'll start with you, Dr. Sullivan, on your informational update.
Yes, most of my informational update was in Spotlight because I wanted to make sure that folks knew about that. I just want to start with a thank you to all the teachers, staff, everyone who made, and families and students, of course, who made this start a very good one. I know there's a lot of new going on. We have new start times. We have adjustments being made with bus routes, and that's not atypical. It's just that there's a lot of new this year. So the adjustments may seem more prominent. We worked really hard to outline our safe routes to school, and we're making adjustments on that as well. We did work over the summer, as I mentioned, with the police. They were very involved with our pickup and drop off at the middle school and high school. We're still working out the kinks in that. Our drop off is actually going very well, I think, at the middle school and high school. From as a parent who's in it every day, it's actually debatably smoother, I think, than last year. I know there's differing opinions out there, I'm sure. But our pickup, we're still working on a bit, but it's getting better every day, and our buses are getting better as well. And I know that Mr. Miller will talk a little more about that. And we've hit the ground running. It's been a very successful, as you can see from the students, start to our school year. And I want to thank the leadership team for really setting the plate with all that. So it's really all I want to say for informational, but very, very proud of the team that we have together, worked to put all this stuff in place. So turn it over to Dr. Martin.
Dr. Martin, go right ahead. Thank you, Dr. Sullivan.
All right. So last time I talked about Educator Academy. So we actually added a couple people on days 2 and 3. So we ended the Thursday before school started with a celebration lunch, and you'll be happy to know we didn't lose anybody on the bus tour or throughout the week, even though it was very overwhelming for them. First week went well as far as academics go. The elementary meet and greet calmed a lot of nerves for students and staff and parents and families. So just a big thank you to the elementary teachers, because it was a really long day, starting with the convocation and going all the way through 6 o'clock that night, and then getting up for the first day of school the next day. So they did a lot. I've been meeting with the elementary coaches, the instructional coaches, and Amy McAlpine to finalize the PD and grade level collaboration. Our first elementary professional development afternoon is tomorrow, and there are a bunch of different sessions. There's some special education. Our specialists are going places. Our classroom teachers are going one place, and our coaches are going somewhere else. So it's just a lot of people going in a lot of different directions. And also, we have been planning for the November 5th, the full professional development day, and Amy has been working with 4 other districts to provide learning opportunities for our specialists that might not otherwise get to see their colleagues from other districts. So comprehensive health, art, music, nurses are all getting together with different districts and different colleagues. So looking forward to that. Our Title I program starts next week. Just an update on our grants. We did get approval on our Title I, 2A, 3, and 4 grants. However, we did receive reductions in 3 out of 4 of those grants. So there was a lot of we had to really keep our focus this year to make sure that we were spending our grants in the most, I guess, the most efficient way as possible. So that's it for me.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Ms. Scalaro?
So I just want to update you that the district received our tiered focus monitoring report from the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education. So this is the report that summarizes we were in Group A, and Group A focused on, let me find in my notes, student identification, IEP development, programming and support services, and equal opportunity. So this is addressing both special education and civil rights. So overall, the department, when they came last year for their on-site visit, they looked at 37 standards. 35 of those standards were fully implemented across the district, and we had a finding of 2 standards that were partially implemented. So the 2 standards that were partially implemented, basically what they do is they came and they looked at records, and they looked at all the information that we uploaded, and then if they see more than one instance of anything that is in non-compliance, they have to make that a finding. So for SE 18B, they found that in 2 separate instances of all the records they looked at, the IEP was not provided to the parent within 10 days of the team meeting. As the district researched that, there were extenuating circumstances in both instances, but it still is going to result in a finding. So there's that. The second area was Civil Rights 18. It falls under the responsibilities of the school principal, but actually, this one was a little bit frustrating because there's no direct connection between the finding and CR 18. The district, what they found was that during their monitoring review conducted by the Office of Language Acquisition, so it was the TFM report for our ESL program, but they're connecting the 2 between civil rights and our ESL program. So basically, we're getting the same finding in 2 reports, in the civil rights report and in the ESL report that Kate Lyons-Maylow is responding to. So that's fine. We can do that in both areas. What they said was that although the district has an elementary English as a second language curriculum and ESL materials for the high school, the district does not have a K-12 ESL curriculum aligned to WIDA 2020 and content standards, so that we need to take time to align those standards to our ESL curriculum. This has a lot to do, Kate could speak more to it, but it has a lot to do with the timing of when the WIDA standards came out in the middle of the pandemic, and people kind of, it was, so, and I think a lot of districts are getting that same finding. So those were the 2 areas. What will happen next is I'm informing you that we have the report, what the areas are that we are going to correct. The report will get posted to the MPSD website tomorrow. I will look at what happened with SE 18B. I'll review our current practices and submit a corrective action plan that ensures that all IEPs are sent to parents within 10 days. I will collaborate with Kate. Actually, Kate's already submitted an action plan for the ESL curriculum. So I already let Desi know that I will just reference that when I'm responding to that for CR 18. And that will be fine. And then the next step after that, Desi approves the corrective action plans, we implement our plans, we submit evidence that we submitted our plans, and then Desi will, we just do all that by the due date. So this is an ongoing process. It's that 6-year process, and there's cohort A and cohort B. So, overall, we had a really successful review. So it's a lot, and people across the district did a lot of work to make, to ensure this. It's the day in, day out. It's not something you can scramble at the end and do. It's something you have to do along the way, which means that our practices are really effective and that we are in compliance. So you have any questions on that one before I?
And Mr. Greer does.
Oh, yeah, I have questions. How much is this going to cost to
Cost-
remediate?
It doesn't cost anything. It's just a matter of us coming together and making a plan. It's just a matter of reviewing our practices. I'll probably send a memo. I'll meet with team chairs. I'll find out what things do we have in place so that if someone is out sick or something happens, what's our plan B to make sure that I gets out on time? And the same thing with the ESL curriculum with Kate Lyons-Band. This is something that she would be doing anyway, and we're working with programs through DESE to make that happen.
Okay, so there's no additional cost other than
No.
what we're already paying?
No, this is about just, it's just compliance with regulations.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, you know my feeling on DESE.
I do.
Yeah.
Mr. Greer just loves DESE so much. Thank you.
This is what they do. Then the only other thing that I have is just to announce CPAC meetings, because I like to do that. So this Thursday here at Seth Ventris, I will be presenting at CPAC on the new IEP, so a new IEP presentation for parents, just to let them know what that's all about and what they can be expecting in team meetings this year and what's different from the old form. Again, it's the form that changed, not the law or the process. And the other thing I wanted to announce, that there's another meeting coming up on October 24th. They're going to repeat the Navigating Aspen in Canvas. So it's presented by CPAC, but everyone is welcome. And that will be facilitated by Amy McAlpine, our Director of Online and Professional Learning, and Megan Molander, our Coordinator of Digital Learning. So that was really well attended last year, and people loved it.
Great.
So that's all.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any questions, comments? Madam Sue? Thank you. Thanks for all your work on that. Appreciate it. Mr. Miller.
All right.
Uh-oh, that's the one.
I got to judge that. So.
I wonder, what could it be?
I know, I'm not going to, yeah, right. I'm just going to be loud.
Happy birthday.
I just joined that club.
That's just a little summary of the last 5. And that's a reminder, I wanted to start this off by saying a reminder that we are only 5 days in.
Yes.
So, as Dr. Sullivan said, the process around busing, around a number of our initiatives, these are I said this at the leadership meeting as well, this is the biggest change in operations in the district in probably 25 to 30 years. I know, I can't do both. We're getting used to it. So, 25 or 30 years, biggest change in operations, and we're only 5 days in. Initially, last week, there were some time issues. Buses were getting to schools late at the elementary level. That has all subsided. So that has kind of taken, you've seen that kind of go away. We had that relatively under control. Now we're moving on to the capacity phase. And there's a whole number of things going on that front. At the secondary level, we have buses that are primarily mid-50s to low 60s for registration. And that's how many students are actually registered on the bus. And as we move into this process, again, it's the first year of this process. So we're learning this as well as we go through it. Based on some of the data last year, we know that secondary students don't ride the bus every day. So under those assumptions, we looked at having a bus around the 60 mark, with several students not riding the bus, either AM or PM, which would give us around 50 students on a bus. That's kind of the working, kind of what we were looking at initially. We were actually looking at less than 60 students per bus, probably more around the 52 mark. I'll explain that in a moment. But 52 is capacity to the seat at the secondary level. So the issue, like I said, it's an entirely new process, and the big issue, and I know this is kind of repetitive, I wrote these notes earlier and then put it in an email to someone who questioned us on this as well, which the whole committee was copied on. The real issue on the capacity is we have not denied a student the opportunity to ride a bus. It happens in other communities. We very well could have started denying students the opportunity to ride a bus. We had registration in March, closed April 1st. We took those numbers, we added the students K to 6 outside of 2 miles that we are mandated by law to transport, and we had numbers that allowed us to have our 18 routes that we've had in the past. We planned around that. Since April 1st, I couldn't really give the exact number, but it's around 500 students that have registered in the last 4 months. So, and we've been very accommodating. We still have families, students looking to get on a bus at this point in time too. And obviously, we know situations change. When we did those original numbers, we had additional capacity for new students, kindergarten students enrolling, the possible here and there, situations changing, and all that. So the issue is now we're up against it with many of these routes that are in the 60 time, around 60 students. And I'm speaking at the secondary level right now because that's where the majority of those 500 students were. We just did not get the response. But we're working through it. A couple things. We haven't done actual counts at the middle school and high school yet. That will help us. We're going to do those starting this week, and that will help us determine if we can really add any additional students that are still coming forward onto the bus. So we put a halt onto it starting yesterday. And we informed those parents we need a little bit of time before we can start putting more students on the buses. The other component of this is we haven't done checks yet. Our high school, our middle school students will wear them on their backpacks. Our high school students, they're tucked away. So we're going to have to do pass checks at the middle school and high school because from what we're hearing and what you guys are hearing on some of these emails from parents, they're listening to their students say the buses are packed and they're jammed and they're crowded. I've been on a few buses in the morning behind high school and student was seat. I popped in and out of a few of them and I did not see any reader seats. And that's in the morning, which may be different than the afternoon. But I think primarily over the years, there's been several complaints on, there's 13 students on the bus. And students have gotten used to relaxing in a solo seat, and it's changed, and this is all about change, and we're working through it. And I think the committee's getting several emails. Dr. Sullivan and I are getting emails. But I think once we get to looking at checking the passes, getting those actual numbers. There's still the ability to make some minor adjustments here and there to help out, but I think we're going to get through it, as we always do. We like to say. But I think the key component is we haven't denied anybody. And the issue of capacity at the elementary level, it's 77 students, 3 to a seat. We really have not gone there. The most students we have registered at the elementary level, one route went over 70 to 72 students. But we know they don't ride every day as well. More of them ride every day. And we're getting actuals from the elementary. The most we've seen is 64 students on a bus. So that is about half the bus with 3 to a seat and the other half 2 to a seat. Not ideal. But again, we knew we were going to increase. In the past, we've had 30 students on the bus, 35 students. We knew there was going to be an increase. 64, 65, the most we've seen actual. But to that end, we're going to have a posting tomorrow for bus monitors at the elementary level. We're asking any other staff that are willing to help out, either at AM, PM, primarily on any buses that have a higher capacity than normal this year, or if there are any issues. We got a couple emails and for a couple issues, but it hasn't been really overwhelming yet. But we're going to let our parents know that we are going to allay some of those concerns on capacity. We'll be putting monitors on the bus for an indefinite time period to start, but we're going to monitor it and see as how far it goes, because obviously there's a pretty substantial cost to that as well. But in light of where this is going, I think that'll help out alleviate some concerns at least initially. So
Great.
That kind of sums up where we're at on the busing. Two other things I just wanted to mention real quickly are playgrounds. The town has contracted an architect. We have a contracted architect that is beginning his study on ADA access on our playgrounds. Ms. Stetson is great, has stepped forward to help out on that front too, with the school committee working with the municipal side. Those reports, the building inspector is involved as well. We expect reports from them that will give us a timeline to implement any changes as needed. We're working as quickly as we can to make those changes because that's high priority one for us on that front. So, and then lastly, school zones, kind of related to the busing and transportation. But Dr. Sullivan and I had a very productive meeting this morning with Officer Lucetti, the safety officer, as well as DPW Superintendent Patterson, John Patterson, and Assistant Superintendent Jim Kent. Primarily focused on Daniel Webster School Zone and Forest and Furnace. We're working on additional signage, clearing some trees that are a little bit overgrown. You may have noticed those walking crosswalks in the middle of the road, adding a couple more of those to the Daniel Webster stretch.
Nice.
Unfortunately, the one at Forest and Furnace got taken out already. Not a surprise. Yeah, not a surprise. We're continually working with our crossing guard sign company. We've had issues where they were out here Thursday, they spent all day Friday at all our crossing signs, got the okay that they were good to go, and then they didn't come on. So the ones at Daniel Webster are blinking 24/7 right now, just to be safe. I will start it on Friday if it makes it all the way through the week. But I expect the bell traffic signal to be out again tomorrow to take another look at that. In the meantime, though, we're also, those are all the short-term things that we're looking at. But there's also long-term goals we have. We met this morning, we're looking at a potential capital budget proposal to enhance those crossing signals. Some of those are still left from 1960s.
Yeah, you've seen the new ones in front of the high school.
New ones in front of ours.
The solar power.
Solar power.
We really should have that in.
Yeah, with solar power, you can change them at a laptop or computer. You don't have to get up on a ladder, and it also has a mile per hour flashing signal.
Hardware so some of them are so rusted out.
So we're going to put a proposal together, hopefully for December special town meeting. Hopefully get that funded immediately, so we can put potentially 8 more of those to replace the ones we have, because the time has come. That's the way to do it. I think we all agree.
Three departments have interest in it. And of course, we want to get your input tomorrow. But
both signed by police, DPW, and school department. So that'll be coming forward fairly soon to the committee for your approval as well.
Great. And I think Mr. Greer has a question on that. You're signaling.
Yeah, the funding should come from the DPW, right? It should be all DPW, right, not us. We just weigh in
So
on,
traditionally, we've taken care of the signs. I do agree that it's something that we can look at, but
So-
right now, Tom is out there fixing the sign.
Yeah, the good thing about the solar powered ones, they can be controlled on a computer. And right now, the ones at Martinson, Jimmy Jackson, who is the highway supervisor, he is the one that is working on. He's responsible for those. So, I mean, we still need to make an agreement with the DPW, and I think going long term,
They were
I think those signs.
very quiet,
Yeah.
very.
well, that's where I'm going. I think we need to amend the MOU that we currently have in place with the DPW.
Correct.
So if we could coordinate that and then bring that back to the committee
Yeah, I
for,
don't want to say right now that, they're going to take over the tire because, it's always going to be somewhat of our responsibility, but I think if there's issues, the DPW has the contact with Bell. I mean, Bell does everything in town. They do everything probably on the South Shore. What I was saying, Dr. Sullivan and the rest of the meeting this morning is if the traffic light goes out at, right in downtown, right at the Dunkin' Donuts and CVS or Walgreens, that gets fixed like that. Those aren't out. There's no
Right,
issues.
right.
They get it done. And, that's in collaboration with the DPW and the police department. We kind of need that same response, especially right now with our increased walkers, the spotlight on Forest and Furnace. We can't go the first 5 days of school having all these issues.
yeah, so let me ask this. So do you consider that part of transportation? Right, does it have anything to do with that? Or who should be handling it from the school committee? Because when we did the MOU way back, right, it was myself, Steve Hawking from the DPW board, and there was a couple other people involved, and we banged out this memorandum of understanding.
That would be the safety subcommittee. I would say that falls more squarely under safety, which is Ms. Brayton and Ms. Stetson.
Right. So could we get an amendment to that so that there's no questions and no finger pointing or any of that? And, I mean, it should be pretty easy to come to an agreement, right? We get along very well with them.
Right, yeah. No, they're great.
But at least we have a document to refer to say, okay, this is how we're going to do business.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think as we work hand in hand with them, I think an update to that document would be good. I mean, I mentioned the playgrounds, that would be part of that too, because the playgrounds are actually spelled out in the town charter, and the DPW has now kind of taken a more active role in that with Sean. Whereas it was kind of left out. Nobody really had full responsibility on it. So we're working with them, collaborating with them as well on that. So it would be similar, but it would be great to update that.
I can't really Tom getting on a ladder fixing.
No.
Signs. It's just, the amount of work that Tom, well, first of all, I just want to thank Team Ellen and Tom for the amount of work they've done over the last, particularly Tom right now, because of the parent with all of these things. And I want to thank people for their patience, but I also want to make sure everyone knows how hard Tom's working on all of this and how I'm trying to support him on it. It's a lot of extra work.
Yeah. Kudos. Yeah.
Was that? She does work.
That's why I mean,
Not going to make
at age 10 years and less.
Well, we appreciate it too. That's very, very well said. All of you. I mean, the start of school must be the most hectic time in your lives. I mean, I know the two of you have kids that are going into the schools at the same time that you're trying to get every staff member, every other student ready to come back. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Miller, for the update on that. And please, yeah.
Oh, yeah, I didn't mention.
It's the size of the class.
Okay, interesting.
Senior class. So we're watching that overflow lot right now at the Tom, jump in here but the pickup situation we have we have our staff parking at I'm going to call it the hockey rink lot to the side of Furnace Brook. Our Furnace Brook staff parks there, and then it also serves as our pickup zone. So our parents come, and then our students are safely escorted across to the cars there. It pretty much fills up with those parents in the afternoon. So we're still looking at the possibilities, but right now that doesn't appear to be a possibility for our juniors and others who need spots. So that's the problem right now, and I know it's a hot button issue with people.
Reached out to whoever answered the phone at high school and they asked, do I register for the bus? Because my son doesn't get his license until October.
Mm.
He can't request a pass until he passes the license. So do I register for the bus? Or they said, no problem, we don't have parking spots. So then they called and again, they're saying, well, now I can't go on the bus. The bus program, so in secondary buses, is it would work for some of the situations?
I think so. That is, that's what we're looking at. We're looking from a bit. God,
You're going to have to back up like further.
Like I said before, visually, those high school buses don't appear to be jammed, which many are claiming. There may be a couple that are. So we have to look at, we individually have to look at where those students live to make those determinations. But the other thing is, we will offer a refund if a student gets, like they can sign up, they have to pay the full amount, but then we'll prorate a refund when a student gets their license. And no, at the high school, no, Nicole Finn and Finn at BSD. We're trying to.
Yeah, look, you have to.
Patient email. It's got quite a few emails. The other thing I wanted to mention is the planning board last week approved the lot behind the baseball field. So that is completely done. It has full approval. That would be another additional 78 spaces.
That would be.
And that would be for high school student parking. We made a real push to try to get it done this summer. Our initial estimate we have a pavement contract with a paving provider. Our quick initial estimate was in the $50,000 range. We handed the DPW. I want to thank the DPW. Their architect did an amazing job with us, working with us on this. It's actually incredible how quickly he brought stuff back and really worked on it. Matt Kiplin? I think this is his name. It's Matt. But once we gave him the schematics for the parking, the final amount came back at $100,000. So, which we don't have laying around. We truly didn't have 50,000 laying around, but we were hopeful to try to push that and maybe fund some of it later through a town meeting article or even the facilities article that comes through. But at 150,000, we couldn't take that gamble. So that won't be put forward until April town meeting, and because we can't really do the work until next summer until school gets out. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that this is the crunch year.
It is, and we do have to do have to prioritize the safety of those students getting picked up.
300 students in senior class, and that next year it's 260
from Furnace Brook.
So I think that problem will be gone in future, especially if we add those additional 77 parking spots.
It seems like just from my passing that the department is no longer park alongside the baseball field on that driveway.
They do.
They do have.
Yeah. I think the majority of the spots are full. I mean, you might.
Yeah, I'll take a look at that. We're still trying to problem solve. So
In addition-
we're open for problem solving ideas out there.
In addition to that, in addition, Rachel Alabello and a couple of baseball parents are putting together a really big proposal for the baseball field. I mean, it's big money from CPC to completely do over the field because the field gets water into it. They're gonna extend the backstop, move it in a little bit. You're gonna have a pavilion behind there, and what it comes into the parking lot is they're going to add kind of if CPC funds it, kind of a path, more like a sidewalk path, a larger path that would wrap around over by that parking lot over to the side too. So I've been working with her on trying to coordinate the two plans too, so we don't override each other. So the DPW architect and Rachel's husband, who's kind of the architect on that project, are working together on that too. So that'll be another proposal going forward in April, if it gets approved by CPC.
Quite an update. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. Okay, any subcommittee reports at this time? Okay, seeing none, and I'm just going to make sure I read this word for word here. We're going to be entering into, yes. I'm sorry, I'm going to table that, yes, yep. So executive session, we're going to enter into executive session. This is chapter 30A, subsection 21. This is reason number 3 is why we're entering into executive session, which is to discuss strategy with respect to collective bargaining or litigation if an open meeting may have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body, and the chair so declares, it's a threat of litigation. Is there such a motion on the floor? So moved from Ms. Stetson. Is there a second? Second from Mrs. Dargan, and that's a roll call. Mrs. Pazerski.
The birthday girl, Mrs. Dargan, Ms. Stetson, Mr. Greer, Mr. Costello.
Yes, thank you. That's 4-0-0. Thank you very much, folks.